Doctors refusing to bend to Didi. Deadlock delays dialogue. Doctors want heads to roll in Bengal.
Concerned authorities, CBI Supreme Court, to expedite the investigation process and punish the culprits without any delay.
Can Mamata end Dr. Dharna? Will angry doctors relent today? Doctors versus Didi. Final countdown. That is our top focus on 5 Live.
It's been 37 days since the rape and murder in a Kolkata hospital that has rocked the doctor community all across the country. While protests in other parts of the country may have quietened down, but the angry doctors of Kolkata are in no mood to give up. Consistently, they've put Mamata Banerjee and her government in West Bengal on the back foot, defying all manner of pressure, all manner of threat, invitations for meetings that have led nowhere, attempts to smear their intents, attempts to discredit them, attempts to threaten their careers, attempts to foist cases on them. None of it has worked so far, and that's the reason why in the last 5 days, Mamata Banerjee has attempted a new kind of approach. She's tried the soft approach. She's told them, I'm not here as your chief minister, I am here as your Didi, your elder sister. This is a chief minister who has realized that the narrative is out of her hands, and now if she is to make any headway with the doctors, she needs to try something else entirely. With the narrative having evaporated from the West Bengal government's hands, the question now is, can talks between Didi and the doctors lead to a constructive breakthrough and an end to the protests? After all, let's not forget that Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is the elected Chief Minister of West Bengal. She is the administrative head and she has to govern West Bengal. And therefore, it is upon her now to not only meet with the doctors, and in her defense, she has invited them repeatedly, but the doctors have said, we are not willing to meet without a live broadcast. Mamata Banerjee has returned fire by saying there is no question of a live broadcast of the proceedings because this is a sub judice matter before the highest court in the country, the Supreme Court. But the Mamata Banerjee government also appears to be nervous that a live broadcast is some kind of an attempt to embarrass the West Bengal government, where it will have no control over what is said behind a closed-door meeting. The question now is, do the doctors really have a plan? They've gotten the West Bengal government on the back foot. They've proved their point as far as owning and keeping to their word and making sure that the strength of protests on the streets of Calcutta do not actually evaporate or dissipate. They've proven that point. The question now is, after attempts to threaten them, after attempts to pressurize them, does it now come down to focusing on a real constructive breakthrough? Because protests have their place, but how long can they actually continue for until Mamata Banerjee is forced to come to the talks table and acquiesce to the demands of the doctors? The question now is, will there be a compromise formula? Will the doctors back down on some of their demands? And they've got some big demands, remember, apart from just the live broadcast. The question now is, and the entire focus will be on whether after 37 days, the protests will finally come to an end with the assurance that justice for doctors and for Abhaya will be served. And for the third time in the last few days, Mamata Banerjee has invited the doctors once again with no conditions to meet her. The doctors have agreed to meet Chief Minister Mamata, but they have once again reiterated their demand for a live telecast of the entire meeting between the doctors' delegation and Mamata Banerjee's team. No Mamata government approval has come yet for any live telecast. They have said so in communications with the doctors earlier also that since this issue is sub judice with the Supreme Court, live telecasting the entire meeting would not be appropriate and therefore cannot be approved. The Mamata government, however, in lieu of that, has agreed to share minutes of the meeting, a jointly shared minutes of the entire proceedings that will be signed by both sides and then can be released to the public. Question now is, after 37 days, will the deadlock end? It's been 37 days since the rape and murder of Abhaya at the RG Kaur Medical College and Hospital. Let me go straight across to India Today's Ritik Mondal, live from Kolkata. Also, Anupam Mishra live with us from the city. Both have been reporting incessantly on this unfolding story. Ritik, over the last 4-5 days, we've seen very many dramatic twists and turns. We've seen Mamata Banerjee sitting in that empty hall. We've seen her standing outside her office, waiting for those doctors who apparently never showed up. We've seen an attempt to, paint the doctors as being, stubborn or unreasonable as far as talks are concerned. But the doctors have held their ground. They've not bent even a little bit as far as their demands are concerned. Is that meeting happening now? Anytime now? Has it begun?
Well, definitely, both the sides are, they are eagerly waiting for this meeting to happen, because as you rightly pointed out, both the sides are hoping that there will be a sudden kind of breakthrough. Remember, tomorrow is the day when this matter once again will be heard by the top court. But on the latest communication to the junior doctors, the government conveyed via a mail, through a mail which was sent around 4:30 p.m. this afternoon, and the government agrees with the third proposal given by the doctors, and they said this meeting will be held at the CM residence, and the representative of both the sides will sign the minutes at the end of the meeting, and copies will be shared with each party to ensure clarity and agreement on the discussion. So this is a major breakthrough. What we do understand, we are also given to understand that the junior doctors, those are protesting at a stretch for a 7th day. Remember, Shiv, it is the 7th day. Day and night, junior doctors are staging sit-in demonstration at the doorstep of Swasthya Bhavan in Salt Lake. So time was given, it was 4:45. They were given the time to appear before, at the CM residence. But what we are given to understand that this team of 30-member doctors will leave for CM residence any moments from now. But let me show you what are the preparations over here. We can see a huge police bandobast has been done over at the door, at Kalighat, which is precisely Mamata Banerjee's residence. So we are also waiting for the junior doctor to come, but definitely tomorrow is a big day. Remember, doctor categorically stated in several times. Even today, I spoke to several doctors, and the member of this delegation who will be meeting Chief Minister, they stated categorically the entire discussion will be centered over their 5-point demands, which includes the resignation of the Kolkata Police Commissioner and 3 top officials, precisely the Health Secretary of the state and 2 other health officials of the state. So removal of these police or officials would be their demand before Chief Minister. So it will be interesting to see what happened next.
So you're saying that the delegation of doctors has left and will be arriving at the Kalighat residence of Mamata Banerjee anytime now. Anupam, can you give us an update on whether either side has decided to relent on any of its stands so far? Because the email that was sent inviting the doctors appeared to have a tone of finality to it. It's almost like this will be the last time we meet before the Supreme Court hears the case tomorrow.
Well, Shiv, let me tell you that there are 2 things. One thing is that whether meeting starts or not. The deadlock over the meeting is going on for the past few days, and we are witnessing a trail of mails between junior doctors and state governments. And today, state government had sent fifth and final letter to the doctors and invited them for the meeting. But there are conditions that videography will not be allowed. Junior doctors had agreed to that, and they are about to leave the Dharna site, which is the Salt Lake Swasthya Bhavan, and they will reach, if they leave there, they'll take at least 30 to 40 minutes to reach here in Kalighat, which is the residence of CM Mamata Banerjee. That is the one thing, and after reaching here, whether meeting starts or not, that will depend, because we have seen dramatic visuals last 2 times that meeting did not took place because of the conditions. So this time, the one thing is that whether meeting starts or not. And the second thing, the 5-point demands of the doctors. If even meeting starts, whether the both parties agrees to those demands or what happens is
Okay.
the main thing, is the main condition whether doctors agrees or not. So these are the 2 things which everyone is eager to understand, eager to know whether it happens or not, or whether the deadlock, which is ongoing,
very interesting and very important point that Anupam you've raised, which is whether the meeting itself will happen or not is still in doubt, and secondly, whether the meeting will actually lead to a breakthrough if that meeting happens at all. Very interesting sequence of events that we're going to track closely. Anupam and Ritik, thanks for the moment. We will come back to you when there is more to report from the ground once that student delegation, the doctor delegation, reaches Mamata Banerjee's residence. But amidst this entire deadlock, remember the CBI has alleged that senior Kolkata police officer Abhijit Mondal tried to protect the main accused in this case, Sanjoy Roy, in the rape and murder case, and got the trainee doctor's body cremated in haste, is what the CBI has said. And this is what India Today's reporters are now hearing from the lead investigators. Here's more, and then we will get a word in from the protesting doctors themselves.
Cover-up bid in Kolkata rape and murder stands exposed. India Today has accessed damning CBI remand note of Kolkata police on Inspector Abhijit Mondal, which allegedly nails the nexus between the police and RJ Kaur College and hospital authorities. The remand note says Abhijit Mondal allegedly hatched a criminal conspiracy with the hospital administration to shield suspect Sanjoy Roy and others and tried to sabotage the probe. The CBI claims the police officer deliberately registered a case of unnatural death and mentioned wrong facts in the hospital's diary entry. The central agency alleges Mondal allowed hurried cremation even though the family demanded a second autopsy. Hundreds of doctors are still on the street demanding justice for Abhay, who was raped and murdered while on duty last month. The deadlock between the Mamata Banerjee government and doctors continues. Senior doctors on Monday came out in support of their colleagues who are on protest. They have listed 7 demands, including transparent probe by CBI, accountability of Bengal Health Department, and removal of Kolkata Police Commissioner. The doctors accused the Mamata government of misleading the Supreme Court.
We are completely with the West Bengal Junior Doctors Front, which is an organization which has been formed in the last 35 days. And this organization has been is at the forefront of the movement demanding justice for Abhay. And we believe that this particular crime is a culmination of a culture of threat that exists in the entire healthcare ecosystem of West Bengal.
We also vehemently condemn the draconian actions of the state government to suppress and throttle the voice of the protesting citizens. across the state of West Bengal by undemocratically using the state machinery, different apparatus of the state machinery.
The Trinamool Congress claims there is a rift within the doctors. The BJP, the principal opposition party in the state, is demanding the CM's resignation.
हमारे मुख्यमंत्री नहीं चाहते हैं कि डॉक्टरों को साथ जो समस्या हुआ है उसका समाधान हो, इसलिए बार बार वो डाइवर्ट कर रहे हैं, गोल पोस्ट चेंज कर रहे हैं। और डॉक्टर ने, जूनियर डॉक्टरों ने अपना 5 डिमांड्स रखा है, इस डिमांड्स के ऊपर उनको कार्रवाई करनी होगी।
The officer in charge of Tala police station played a crucial role in order to hush up the entire thing. And this entire matter put Kolkata police under a huge pressure. Since the crime happened, senior cop of Kolkata police stating that the sanctity of investigation were maintained. But the rest of Abhijit Mondol put them under huge pressure. With camera person Shamshul Ghosh, this is Vikrik for India Today.
Well, this exchange between Didi and the doctors has intensified over the last 5 to 6 days. There's been a trail of mails between both sides, but no actual meeting. Lots of drama, lots of dharna, lots of Didi posturing, lots of doctors' defiance, but no actual meeting has taken place, and that could happen today. Take a look. On August the 9th, 2024, is when this 31-year-old trainee doctor was raped and murdered at the RG Kaur Hospital in Kolkata. August 17th, 8 days later, the Indian Medical Association announced a nationwide strike. August the 22nd, the doctors returned to work after the Supreme Court pulled up the Kolkata police and gave assurance to the doctors. On August the 26th, clashes between protesters and police during the Nabanna protest in Kolkata. September 8th, junior doctors resumed their protests in Kolkata because they perceived that no action had been taken and it was all lip service by the Mamata government. September the 9th, the Supreme Court directed protesting doctors to resume work the following day by 5:30 and said that the investigation was continuing. On September the 10th, the protesting doctors rejected the state government's invitation for a discussion and also continued protests despite what the Supreme Court had requested. On September 11th, Chief Minister Mamata refused the doctors' demand for a live telecast of any meeting that she would invite them for. On September the 12th, the doctors spurned the Chief Minister's invitation for talks. Once again, Mamata offered, also in a very dramatic gesture, to step down, but also clarified, but these people are after my chair. On September 13th, doctors wrote to President Murmu and Prime Minister requesting an intervention. On September the 14th, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee appealed for talks. The doctors agreed for a meeting. She said, I'm here as your elder sister, not as your chief minister. The doctors refused to go inside the chief minister's house. They were firm on their stand that they would only do this meeting if a live stream and a live broadcast of the proceedings was conducted. The chief minister agreed to videograph the meet, but cannot telecast as a matter is sub judice. So that's where things stand right now. I want to go across to 2 doctors who've been protesting on the streets of Kolkata for the last many days, and they know a thing or two about the delegation that will be visiting and meeting Mamata Banerjee at her residence in Kalighat very shortly. We understand the bus carrying the doctors' delegation has already departed and is on its way now to meet with Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of West Bengal. Dr. Anupam Bhattacharya, he is a doctor who's been protesting. Dr. Mainak Roy is a doctor who's been protesting. He's also an ex-student of the RG Kaur College. Dr. Bhattacharya, coming to you first. The last few days have seen many hits and misses, many invitations to come for talks which have not actually happened on the point of live broadcast of the proceedings. Today also the delegation of doctors is headed now for that meeting, but the Bengal government has still stuck to its stand, Dr. Bhattacharya, saying no live broadcast is possible. Will the meeting still happen?
Okay, I am going to say that what is your report? The last meeting at the Kalighat in front of House of Chief Minister, at last doctor told that they agreed to written minutes only, but then authority, including Chief Minister, they refused to attend the meeting just because of there is no further time. So I am going to correct that one. So after that, again the mail came from the Manoj Pant and Chief Secretary. Then Doctor agreed to do a meeting. So I think today the meeting will happen, and both parties are agreed to a written minutes. Okay, because tomorrow is a Supreme Court. So I think they will go to the meeting and they will do something. But if you ask that will it break the deadlock, I think it's no, because the doctor is very much resistant. They are stand up on their ground that they will snatch the victory, they will snatch their demand. So until and unless the demands are fulfilled, so they will not end the seizure, I think. So it is the part, the delegation team which went to the Kalighat today. I think it's a part of the movement. So after the achieving the demand, they will so deadlock, I think it will continue. It is in my mind.
Dr. Roy, how do you see what's going to happen at today's meeting? Dr. Mainak Roy, the delegation meeting will take place, which is at least some forward movement, because no meeting has taken place so far. So if the delegation and Mamata Banerjee's team actually meet, that in itself is something of an achievement. But Dr. Bhattacharya says the deadlock may not actually break because the Bengal government has not agreed to any of the demands so far. Dr. Roy, where do you stand?
First of all, it is unpredictable that what will happen in future because the doctors are too much agitated regarding the situation what happened last few days. CM has asked to meet and discuss it regarding the situation. According to me, the delegations from the WBJTF should meet CM. As we respect CM, the chair of CM, and we need to meet her. There must be some discussion regarding this, but I think the government should meet the demands of the doctors, like the DME, DHS, and health secretary, who gave the permission to break the crime place, to destroy the crime place. That should be dealt with seriousness, and the resignation of CP. That is also an important issue, because the CP has played a major role in suppressing the evidences or in cremation of the dead body, the cremation of the victim's body, which were just cremated at no time without the permissions of the parents.
That's what the family has been saying. Yes,
I think the doctors should meet and place their demands. But I think that I also agree to Dr. Anupam Bhattacharya what he said, that regarding the deadlock present between the doctors and protesting doctors and the government, that may not be broken, I think.
Dr. Bhattacharya, if the demands had to be met, if it was as simple as the demands being met, then perhaps the government would have communicated that so far. So I tend to agree with you also, even though I am not on the ground. You know it better. But Dr. Bhattacharya, what will this meeting be about then? Will the meeting just be about contact having been established after 37 days of alienation? Is that what today's big breakthrough is going to be? At least they are talking.
I think all the resistance from the doctor's end, what today you are seeing, that it is just because of the government, and they were very much rigid. And initially, how they dealt with the situation and the attack on the Arjikor at the 14th night, and the latter, all the threats from the Mamata government, actually these are agitated to the doctor. So right now, all the suspicion, all created in the doctor's mind, that is not very much easy to ease. Okay, so with just talk, with just some talk, I think the ice is not going to melt. So only after achieving the demand. So today, and Mamata Didi came to our Shastra Bhavan, and what she told that it will be happen gradually. The demand will be fulfilled gradually. So doctors are not right now on the mood of the gradually. They just want do it right now. why you are not removing CP? Why you are not removing the DME and DHS and principal secretary? So they are the suspected persons. So here the health authority and police administration, they hand in hand, they are helping the evidence tampering. And right now, till at the 37th day of the protest and 7th day of protesting in front of Shastro Bhavan, we are not in close to the culprit. So our first demand is a capital punishment of the culprit. If you see both the Tala police station OC Obhijit Mondal and Dr. Sandeep Ghosh arrest, these are the case of the evidence tampering. So we are eagerly waiting. Who are the main culprits? So if you see all 5 demands, so I think it is not very much difficult from CM's end to achieve it, to give it, but they are very much rigid. So doctor who fought last 37 days and fought so much heroically, I don't think that with just in words, some sentences, we break the deadlock. And I think all these situations, what it is created and these stalemate situations, it is just for of the Mamata Banerjee's government, I think.
Because ultimately, Dr. Roy, and ultimately, look, politicians, and this may not be about Mamata Banerjee, but in general, when politicians are faced with extended protests, they try and make some, interim promises in order to at least get the protests stopped. Remove the protesters, let the protesters go away from the streets, and then they get the advantage as far as the talks and demands are concerned, because once everybody goes away, it's very difficult for the protest to start all over again. And I think it's very clear that that whatever the voices of the doctors, ultimately for everyone to get back to work should be the final aim of all of this. Everyone should go back satisfied that justice is going to be done and demands are actually met. But in the last few days, Dr. Roy, Mamata Banerjee has come out and said, I am like your elder sister, I am not the CM. Don't spoil your career by doing all this. She has taken a soft approach now. After the initial hard approach, she has taken a little bit of an emotional approach. What do you feel about that?
That may be an emotional approach because the protests, the common people are on the street. Yesterday, the rally took place and like 30,000 people were there. 30,000 common people and doctors were there. There's a huge pressure on administration, on government to handle the situation. And the protesting doctors are really furious regarding the situations, and they want their demands to be fulfilled right now. Without the fulfillment of the demand, I must say that deadlock won't be broken, and the protest should continue. The protest should be continued by the doctors, and I am also protesting there. So we should continue the protest. We should continue the protest because previously many times you have told just right now that the politicians make false promises, and that is the cause that there must be the suspicions that if we come into the normal place, or if the equilibrium is maintained, or the protester died down, then the promises won't be fulfilled. I agree to your comment that there is a chance that if the doctors came to the work and do the same thing, and the protest will die down. And these kind of promises are not new from the CM. This kind of promises comes up previously. If you see the SSC protest, if you see the TET protest, which took place recent years in West Bengal, from the government side, there were such promises which won't be kept up by the government itself. So we need to see what happened. We need to get the demands ready. I know that the matter is in sub judice. The matter is sub judice. Where, when, and what was the motive of killing Didi or where? We cannot come to end now. Conclusion will not be there. How that happened? But the demands should be met by the government as early as possible.
Final question to Dr. Bhattacharya. Tomorrow is the hearing in the Supreme Court, Dr. Anupam Bhattacharya. The Supreme Court has twice, requested, not ordered, but requested the doctors to get back to work. It is not an order. It is basically by way of saying, we assure you that we will take care of your demands, etc., etc. Please get back to work. And they had provided a deadline last time as well. Tomorrow, if they say the same thing, it will be the third time that the highest court in the land has asked the protesting doctors to get back to work. If that happens, what will the doctors do?
Look, I think that this movement, it is unprecedented. It is actually all the people and all the doctors, they are in the mood that we will do it, we will win. And they already thinking that if Supreme Court tried to give punishment, then all the doctor community, whether it is senior or junior, whether it is government or non-government doctor, they will do the protest and at the same line, at the same rally. And and simultaneously, the West Bengal Junior Doctors Fund, they are now contacting in the All India plane to coordinate the movement. So I think just the Supreme Court verdict and Supreme Court directive will not melt the doctors' protest if the demand is not going to fulfill. So it is my opinion.
Okay. Dr. Anupam Bhattacharya, Dr. Manak Roy, thank you very much.
Long-term fight.
Understand. Thank you very much for making it clear. We will continue to track the story very, very closely here. That doctors' delegation is now on the way to meet with Mamata Banerjee. We all hope that the meeting does take place. Let's see what happens in the meeting. Talking is always good. Protests have their place, but let's hope that the doctors get what they are demanding. Let's hope that they can be reassured by the Chief Minister 37 days after these protests began.